Hey, two. Hey, one. Hey, two. Hey, three. Hey, four. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Hey. Ho. Everybody get up. Ho.
Adios.
I'm doing great, Rav'n.
Hello, and welcome to Actors from the Dark Side.
I'm Ladios Muhammad. I'm an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon. I'm an actor with passion.
We appreciate you coming in and sliding in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, Rav'n, so you heard the good news?
What's up?
April 26th.
Oh, are we going to get out? Is that what they're saying?
Lies, they're gonna get you.
We can only hope, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm going crazy.
Yes.
Well, I think it's worse for me when it's like dark and dreary.
Yeah.
Versus when it's sunny, at least I can go out on my porch, take some walks. But when it's snowing, and did you notice it snowed in April?
Yeah, it always snows in April. We're in Colorado.
One time it snowed in June. I was
That's right. And I'm the opposite. When it's cold and dreary, I'm like, oh, good. I have a reason to stay at home. Whereas if it's nice, I'm like, oh, man, now I have to stay at home and meow. So, yeah. I've been happy with the cold weather. Cause it's like, okay, I have to stay at home anyway. And now I'm warm and toasty and there's nothing else to do. So, but with that being said, I'm having a hard time staying motivated in this environment.
Yes.
So how about we address that on today's podcast?
That's right. So our title today is, what are you doing to keep up your grind?
Yeah.
What do you do to stay motivated when it's times like this that are slow? And then we'll talk about professionalism.
Absolutely.
So so I think as we mentioned probably in episode 1, how we had been working on this pre the COVID virus.
Absolutely.
So this just kind of accelerated, and this podcast has been keeping me motivated. You know,
me too.
Keeping me on the grind because we're being very creative, thinking of topics to talk about as actors, and you know our experiences, and you know we're conducting ourselves. This is like our baby. This is our business. This is our thing. You know.
Yes.
So
have something to look forward to, something to put your grind to.
Yeah.
Every week because it's been pretty sparse out there, to say the least. So I know a lot of people out there have been doing a lot of creative things with Zoom and house party and things like that. Some stage readings, some things like that. Have you heard of anything like that?
So I heard you were talking since you brought up house parties.
Yeah.
Are you into sports?
A
little bit. Okay, Cowboys.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Cowboys, and he threw a big house party.
Oh, nice.
And it was on the news all week last week. You know.
That's awesome.
No, they didn't say that was so awesome.
Oh, but it was an actual house party, not a virtual.
No.
Sorry. I was thinking on your phone, Dak Shepard, hot. No,
he threw
he was irresponsible.
Exactly, and that's what they said.
Okay.
He was totally irresponsible. But you got to think he's like 25, 26 years old. He's a kid, you know? So kids get bored, which I don't understand boredom. I mean,
what is that?
You mean you can't Netflix it all day long? You can't video games? Oh my God.
They got TikTok?
Speaking of which, we have to do a TikTok.
We got to do a TikTok.
We definitely got to do a TikTok. I mean, how could you get bored? I mean, with social media, there's so much going on. But and you know, coming back to our topic about how do you stay motivated and stay on your grind at these times. And I've been stressing a million times that you got to be innovative. I really think after the ban is lifted, things just won't go the same. They won't be the same. Even in the industry, it's going to be completely different. There's going to be a shift. And so we got to prepare for that shift. There's been several video auditions. Casting directors from coast to coast have been pumping out an open invitation to actors to audition. because usually this is pilot season, and it of course got delayed.
Absolutely.
So I was on a web no, it was a Zoom conference with one of the casting directors, and she was the one that does the casting, I think, for Scandal.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And so her name is Leah, oh my God, why am I going blank? Leah Daniels.
Okay.
Anyhow, so she was saying she received like, I don't know, like 20,000 audition videos.
I'll bet.
But she said she was going to go through every last one of them and choose the best 50.
Well,
Yeah,
that's a daunting job.
Yeah, and a lot of the casting directors have also been opening up, video Skypes and conferences to give out advice, what they're looking for, what the do's, what the don'ts. And this is the time to just take that opportunity to catch up on your craft.
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't have your studio together at home, this is the perfect time to craft that together. Right. Go visit some casting agencies' websites and see exactly what they're looking for in terms of their slate, in terms of lighting, in terms of, hey, can I do this with my phone? Which 90 times out of 10, it's acceptable. You don't have to do that much brain damage to actually get your audition in. They just want to see your talent. So, this is a good time to start working on that and honing that in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And it's so funny because when we're so busy, we say we don't have enough time.
So true.
And now we have time, and it's like I've heard I have a fellow actor friend, and she was talking about, oh yeah, come January. This is like in October, November. I'm gonna start my podcast. I'm gonna start my YouTube channel. So I was texting her. I was like, yo, when we posted our podcast, she says, I'm gonna watch it. And I was like, hey, I'm waiting for yours. Where's yours?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I'm getting around to it. And I was like, yeah, you said that like 3 months ago, 6 months ago. So like, this is the time if you want to start a new channel, a new YouTube channel, put some content out there. It doesn't matter what it is, just anything. I mean, honey, I've gone through some YouTube channels and I went down the rabbit hole. It didn't matter what. It could have been something so ridiculous, but it was entertaining for me. So, there's always something to put out there. There's always content, is what I say.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is a time when it's so easy to sit back and consume. And we're artists. It's a time to really kind of light a fire under yourself and create, no matter what that is. Whether that is, I know both me and Ladios have writing projects. Right. That keeps me busy a lot of the times. Again, trying to hone in the craft and what could I be doing in terms of my studio, my website, my presence. All of those things are areas that you can be giving great attention to during this stay-at-home
stay-at-home band. Like, we can't go anywhere. Yeah. And another casting director, I think her name is Angela White. She's been having ongoing series on of webisodes or live Zoom in calls, like you can go in live, and she talks about the back end of the business, about, because we fail to realize, like, as an actor, you're not just an actor, you're an actor, and this is your business. You are your business. That's why you are your brand. And she talks about that, about branding, about the business, about conducting themselves professionally. And what is your thoughts about that here in Denver, about professionalism with the actors? I mean, have you seen anything that kind of strikes a nerve?
There's a wide gamut. I mean, especially with my theater background, a lot of times you'll have people that just don't have the theater acting knowledge or repertoire, so they don't come in professionally or handle things professionally. There's definitely a level of accountability that's higher in acting, in terms of your director, your stage manager. Everybody needs to know where you're at. Everybody, because you've signed a contract and you've said, this is what I'm going to do. I've had to take a lot of notes from professionals like my colleague here, Ladios. I remember on our first play, Blackberry Love. Now, mind you, that's one where I'll say, if there was ever a production that you had anywhere to go but up, that might have been it. And that's no diss to anybody, but it was just very, still to this day, it was still
It had
kinda,
an impact on you. It had an
it had an
imprint
impact,
of-
but it was very much just put together.
Right.
You know, I don't want to say it's the least professional production that I've been in because it's not, but there was a lot to grow from, and I learned a lot from being on that level because there were a lot of family members joining in and that kind of thing to be actors. So when you're dealing with that where it's like, oh, I'm doing a favor to the director versus I'm doing this for my craft, you get a level of professionalism that's just kind of iffy.
That is so true.
Yeah, so you were like the pinnacle of professionalism on that production, and I remember looking to you like, okay, who can I look to for some guidance because you know, between you and Michael Peters,
Michael Peters
those
was
were the
awesome.
only people that I really had to draw on, and you guys were really the two that kept that production together, if you ask me. Because we needed your talent and your expertise.
It was a challenge. I see that. You said something very important of inviting your friends and your family, and I don't mind having, because I was at one point like you, a beginner actor on the stage. So, and I'm a firm believer there could be beginner actors that come in and they're just they knock it out the box. You would not know they're beginners. But if there are beginner actors who need to get some training, giving them a ton of lines and still having to coach them through the whole rehearsal, that's not okay.
Well, and that's a level of professionalism as well. When do you, even if you're in a leadership role, when do you let go of the reins, right? That was a position where somebody was trying to write, direct, produce, and it was really overwhelming. And that's something that you have to take into account, right? What can I do? What am I capable of? And if I overshoot, if I oversell, am I going to ruin things because I'm not capable of producing that? It's better to know your capabilities and work them versus trying to oversell or do too much and then missing the mark completely. So
and what do you think about directors also being actors in their plays? How do you feel about that? Do you think that's possible? Like, because I know. Like as you mentioned, Michael Peters, he's an amazing freaking director and a phenomenal actor.
Absolutely.
And I've seen him direct and act. But he did it like so fluidly. Like when he had on his director's hat, it was a director hat. He was very professional when he was an actor, and he had a distinction. But I've seen that some people, when you're trying to direct and act, it doesn't mesh well. It could be a conflict in some instances.
Sure. And I think that's probably individual kind of thing because like you said, Michael Peters is a standout, and he was just as great of an actor as a director, and was wonderful to rely on in both roles, especially in that production and other productions as well. But then there's other times where maybe directing might not even be that person's ballywick, like they shouldn't even be in that position, so that's another.
I have worked with people who are not supposed to be directing. They might be a phenomenal writer.
Sure.
They might be a great producer.
Stage manager.
Yes.
Yeah,
lights coordinator, but a horrible director.
Even a better actor.
Yeah. Yes. So I guess we have to find our lane and stay in it. Stay in our own lane and know our niche when it comes to professionalisms.
Sure.
I also seen when it in the theater field again. Colorado is a big theater industry as well as commercial industry. We do industrial commercials and non-union commercials here, so it's more of the theater or commercial industry here when it comes to television. But I also noticed that in the professionalism, a difference between the two cross cultures. So I've seen where if you have a white director, people show up on time. They respect the boundaries. They call in. They're not late. I remember in a play that I was in about maybe it was a couple of years ago. The girl she was like the main star. She had her lines memorized, but she kept showing up late. I mean, and she was a phenomenal actor, but she kept showing up late. Wow. And she kept showing up late.
Yeah.
And eventually he said, you know what? And let me tell you, we were 1 week before opening.
Oh, wow.
He said, you know what? you come in, you gave all these ding-on excuses. He said, I can't take this shit anymore. And he fired her. You're fired. And we're like, what are we going to do? He had hired one of the other actors that had auditioned for the role. She had 3 days to memorize it and be on set. And this girl was fluid.
Yeah.
When I say professional, she had her lines 3 days.
Sure.
3 days of full play as a lead. Now that's what I'm saying when you talk about professional, being able to step in and just move out and not. She was phenomenal. Phenomenal. She sang her chorus. It was very, and the play, everybody still, because you know how you end up, you know how long rehearsals can go.
Sure.
Sometimes 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Absolutely.
Now
Step in that late.
Yeah, and you got to build that chemistry all over.
Absolutely.
So it was amazing. And then, on the flip side, I've been on some productions where, people are like, oh, you're my homegirl, and it's cool that I'm late. And I'm like,
yeah.
Show up, you text if you're going to be late.
Yes.
You call the director, the casting manager, or the stage manager and say you're going to be late. And they're just, they have this, oh, we're buddies, we're friends. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You need to call and respect boundaries, because people fail to realize that you affect not just yourself, you affect everybody. You
affect the whole cast, absolutely. It affects the whole production, right? It's a ripple effect, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, that's so true. I was thinking about whether or not, just going back to that subject of whether or not you should be in the director field or that kind of thing. If you're trying acting or whatever and you find that you're not having success, don't give up. Because there are multiple different roles in the theater and in film that you might just excel at. But again, trying to be too much is going to make you look unprofessional. Yeah. Sylvia Gregory, one of the casting directors here in Colorado, I took a class with her, and she had said, know yourself. Those are the best actors, right? First, know yourself, but the goods and the bads, because that's going to be when you can present yourself to your fullest, knowing exactly, I can be that Scroogey character, or I can be that, glamour person, or whatever it is. You need to know what you can do and what you're capable of, and a lot of times that comes with being fully accountable of who you are and what your strengths and your weaknesses are. To that note, with professionalism, how do you cover up, or how do you work on those weaknesses when they do rear their ugly head, right?
So wait, what's your strengths and weaknesses here?
Yeah.
When you're dealing with professionalism, like, because mine's is I have such a low tolerance when it comes to unprofessionalism. I just, and I don't like overbearing directors, but I don't like docile directors. It's just like, oh, okay, blah, blah, blah.
I'm with you there.
I need someone who comes in and directs. I need someone who takes charge and like, okay, we have started rehearsal. Let's get your scripts. Let's go. I need structure.
I like that too.
I don't like, just do what you want. And, and then, and I, and of course we've been on a couple of projects where there was some stuff going on in the background.
Yeah.
I need you to handle that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, don't be like, you guys are adults, you handle. No, you're a director, handle this, because when there's problems and people are unprofessional.
It's like herding wild cats, okay?
Yeah.
It's just, that's what actors are like, we're a bunch of little wild cats, so.
We really do, and we do get catty.
We need a good director.
We get catty, and we need someone that makes sure that we stay cohesive.
Yes.
And that we stay together.
On track.
Yes.
On track.
So, and that to me is important for leadership and professionalism, because that can mess with the chemistry of the play.
Oh, yeah.
You have people arguing in the backstage, and that's not handled. That's not okay. That's gonna show up on our stage. And one director said something that was so profound. He said, don't act to make yourself look good. Yeah. Act to make your partner look good.
Yes.
So whoever's your counterpart on stage, you want to make them look good. And that's when you take yourself out of this all about me attitude, and it's about us. Yeah. Because when I'm on stage, I build off of chemistry.
Yes.
I build off of each other, and oh my God, the worst thing is when you don't have good chemistry.
Oh gosh.
Or someone's flat.
Oh yeah. Again, I'm having flashbacks to my first play. Horrible. Yeah!
Because and then do you find that you need time to build some chemistry with the rehearsals? How do you deal with that?
Sometimes it can be instant, honestly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just kismet and you meet that person like you and me, right? We had a great relationship and great chemistry right out the gate. Other times you do need that extra time, even taking time away from rehearsal and, hey, let's go have coffee together.
Yeah.
Hey, let's just get to know each other outside of this space and get familiar with each other so that we can have that repertoire, especially if they're going to be a scene partner on a romantic level or something like that, where there's an intimacy level involved. You definitely want to have that chemistry. So, it's on you, or at least for me, it's on me to make sure that both of us shine. And I will take those extra steps to go outside of rehearsal and do extra work with that person and myself so that we can build that, because it is so vital to the production.
And professionalism with chemistry is super important because people.
Do tell, audience.
Going back to that play, you gotta remember, baby, that these characters are not real. So a lot of times when you build chemistry, you're building chemistry to present the character on the scene, on the TV, on the stage. You have to be able to discern truth from falsehood. And I think some people fall in love or get attracted to the character of the show. And you're not really getting to know the person behind the character. And then you start creating this relationship and it's not real.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that has never personally happened to me.
Yeah.
But I know that has, like on the flip side, someone who's like, "Oh, you're so attracted." No, you're attracted to the character, and that you have to discern, that you have to remain professional. And you see that a lot of times. You spend, and it's like at work. You spend a lot of time with people at work.
Yeah.
They call them your work wife, your work husband. But you don't know who they are behind it at home, outside of work. So when you're on the stage, this is work.
Yes.
When you're rehearsing, this is work.
Yes.
When we're having coffee to build character, this is work.
Sure.
We got to keep that professionalism and not cross that line.
Absolutely. Like even just how are you presenting yourself on those first couple of introductions? I know first rehearsal, I usually go a little spiffy just because that's going to be my first introduction to my cast. And I want them to remember me like I took the effort out to actually smell good and look nice. And the next day I might show up in leggings and a t-shirt. That's okay. It's rehearsal. But that first day, we're going to be good because that's professionalism.
I might take that. I come up a little spiffy. I never thought about that.
Yeah, just the first day.
I don't know what I do the first day. I just come up and I'm kind of like observant, trying to learn everybody. Lots of times because, the scene, you're 6 degrees of separation from the next person.
So true.
You definitely cannot ruffle feathers in this little small town. And so, I always just try to say, who do I know? Who do I don't know? And I always try to sit next to someone I don't know to get to know them more.
Yeah.
Because you never know what future projects you may be working with them on.
Definitely.
I like that spiffy. I like. The next time we show up, I'm going to check you out. I'm going to check you out. Like, oh, aren't you a little spiffy?
At least the first one.
And I'll be like, hey, you need to keep up this.
No.
Okay, you need to
I'm
keep
like,
up
no.
She said,
4 more nights, no.
Leggings.
I'm like, leggings, t-shirt for the rest of the rehearsals. But until dress rehearsal, then it gets exciting.
Then it gets that's fun. Yeah. So that definitely, we just wanted to kind of, share some of our ideas, what to do in your grind. Let's get innovative. Let's do that checklist of things we didn't do. Let's, start working on our craft, chime in on some of the casting directors. They're all over the internet.
Absolutely.
From Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I mean, they're giving away free classes by these big time casting free. Learning about the business. These are all things that you could be doing during this COVID time when we're at the stay-at-home order, because you should never just be dead doing these things.
Don't get stagnant.
Not dead.
Yeah,
stagnant.
don't get stagnant.
Don't get
right?
stagnant.
Yeah, don't just sit on your couch and consume.
Yeah, and then you want to work on your professionalism. Your presentation is very important because your brand is super important. You are your brand. You are your business.
That's right.
So these are some things that we wanted to share with you, some tips and
Absolutely.
shouts outs and
comment and
Yeah.
thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
and-
definitely comment and let us
Yeah.
know if there's anything that you want us to discuss, to cover,
Yes.
anything. So I'm Ladios Muhammad, an actor with purpose.
And I'm Rav'n Moon, an actor with passion.
Remember, you don't have to be asleep to dream, and we want to thank you for watching The Actors from
The dark side.